All right, guys, happy 4th of July to everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Everybody that's out having cookouts or family get-togethers or eating hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill. As you can see, today is the 4th of July here on the farm, and I'm not at a cookout or a barbecue, even though I was invited to a few. Anyway, I don't want to, today I have to get the sprayer ready to get this nitrogen on the corn. So I'm not much for going to family barbecues, especially when I got to start getting some of this stuff done. And I was thinking maybe once I'm all caught up, I might go away sometime this summer. So anyway, you guys may remember a couple videos back, I did a quiz at what V stage the corn was at. At that time it was like V3, so this is the same corn plant here. So it's getting to the point, this is it's getting a little bit, it's starting to fold up. The leaves are folding up because of the heat and the lack of rain. So it's a good chance of rain today, so that's why I want to get it done. Anyway, let's get rolling here. All right, and working on holidays is not uncommon for me. If I would have been at the equipment dealership, today would have been a vacation day. And I tell you what I would have been doing. I would have been over at the other farm working. When I was at the dairy farm, I milked cows on Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning. My boss gave me off Christmas night and Christmas Eve. I think I did on Christmas Eve also, I milked. And then Christmas morning, he gave me the option to have the day off, and I still showed up. I always liked working on holidays because there's just something about it. And the job that I recently had, that the place closed down, I would have had to work anyway. You had to work every holiday, it didn't matter what. So you got time and a half plus holiday pay, which was nice, but it's not unusual, not uncommon. So let me get this sprayer hooked up. I spend more time dragging this sprayer around. It's probably the most used piece of equipment on the farm. We got to switch it over from broadcast spraying to nitrogen drop hoses. So I'll get into that. Let me get it down to where it has to go. All right, I'm going to explain how I do this in case anybody's interested, or if anybody wants to learn a little bit about this. A lot of guys know how this is done already, and might still find it interesting because you can see how I do it with my equipment versus equipment that you've seen it done with. But anyway, it feels like we have come full circle. I did a video on doing this back when I had first started YouTube last year around the same time, and I think that video had maybe 50 views for the longest time. I had, I don't know, 50 subscribers, 60 subscribers at the time. So I'm going to do this video again, just because there's more of an audience, there's more people watching, there's maybe more interest, I don't know. But I didn't let a video with only 50 views discourage me to stop making videos, and we're going to get this set up. So I'll explain what's going on here and show you guys kind of what I'm doing and how I'm making this work. Okay, so this may look like nothing but a pile of hoses, and that's exactly what it is. It's a pile of hoses. These here are the drop hoses for dribbling nitrogen on between the rows of corn. There's enough here. There might be an extra one or two. I do carry an extra one or two on the sprayer just in case I lose one. It has happened already, and you don't always notice it right away. So I have enough here to do all the rows of corn that the sprayer will do. I think the sprayer does 18 rows. It's 45-foot boom, but we have the hoses. So on my sprayer, and this is why I'm very fussy when it comes to buying a sprayer. Everybody asks, what am I going to be upgrading to? What equipment am I going to buy next? A lot of different questions, and I do appreciate those questions. I really do, because it keeps me thinking as far as what do I need to upgrade if the budget ever allows it. Now, this year I was going to try to buy a sprayer, try to upgrade. The budget didn't allow it, so we're not going to. We're going to run this one this year, and so far, knock on wood, it's still working. Everything is fine with this sprayer, but if I would get another sprayer, I want one with the nozzles on 30-inch and 20-inch rows. Now I'll explain what that is. This is a nozzle that you use for broadcast. You can see the red spray tip in there, and this is a nozzle that you're using for broadcast. There's a spray tip in there. Those are 20 inches from there to there. It's 20 inches. It sprays a pattern every 20 inches, but there are also some fittings in the boom here that are capped off. You see there's a cap on there. Those are on 30 inches. Now some of them, the caps, there's not 30 inches worth of caps every 30 inches. You do use some of these, and I'll explain. So this one's capped. So you're gonna have a drop hose right here, right dead center, right in line with the drawbar. That's gonna be your first hose, because there's gonna be a in between the rows of corn right here in the center. Then over here in front of your wheels, you're gonna be, of course, driving through the rows of corn. You're gonna have another drop hose. So from this nozzle to here is 30 inches. So what I'm gonna do is put the drop hoses on, and then this one will be capped off because it won't be used. So you will need some extra caps. This cap can transfer over to here, and then you'll also cap this one off because it's 30 inches from here to here. So what I did to speed this process up so I don't have to keep looking and guessing and second guessing, I took the whiteout pen and I marked them. Corn, nitrogen. Nitrogen. I think that one's wore off. I'll have to look. Some of them I have a C for capped, and some of them I have an N for nitrogen. Just so, yeah, here's one that says N. And this one says N. I'll have to check that. I still have to check it anyway. C for capped. So you get the point. And I'll show you. I will do this on camera and demonstrate this as I go along here. It does take a while till you get all of these done on a 45-foot boom. For guys that have a 60 or 90-foot boom, I can't imagine the amount of time it takes you guys to do that. But anyway, back what I was saying. Sprayer is probably the number one thing on the list to upgrade as far as equipment. Number two is a hay elevator. So that's kind of where we're at. I do want a better sprayer with a hydraulic boom on the back that I can raise it and lower it. Just because of the hills and the terrain. There are, like I said, there are skis on the boom, and a lot of times these booms are hitting the ground. They're planting the booms into the ground just because of the terrain and the way it all rolls and up and down and every which way. And the way this is, I can't lift it. I could unbolt it and move it up, but then it's going to be too high. This is the height I want, so it's just something I'd like to have on a hydraulic that I can move up and down. I guess I could rig it up, but I want to upgrade sprayer. So one thing I am going to have to do once all the drop hoses are on, it adds a lot of weight to the boom. What I'm going to do this year, and I did not do last year, you can see there's suspension here. I want to get a ratchet strap around this and lift the boom up a little bit. I want the boom up higher than it was last year, because some of these drop hoses were on the terrain. They were dragging right down to almost that they were ripping off the valve body. So anyway, on to the next part of my explanation here. Okay, so well, I did get the drop hoses when I bought the sprayer. These came with the sprayer when I bought it. I did not get the orifices that go in to regulate your flow. I put 40 gallon of nitrogen onto the acre when I top dress, 40 gallon on every acre. And I already calibrated it last year. I came up with the calibration, and I'll show you guys what I came up with. Now, I just want to explain that this is not the ideal material to use or the ideal way to do it. All I can say is this is what I came up with last year, and I'm going to do it again this year just because it worked, so we're going to do it again. All right, these are brass blanks. Now, nitrogen corrodes brass very fast. Brass is something that will corrode being in contact with nitrogen. So, when I was done last year, I put the brass blanks in oil. They've been in this bucket of oil since last year, so they haven't been disturbed since last July. They do make stainless steel blanks, or not even blanks, the orifices that have different hole sizes. I didn't buy those stainless steel orifices because they, at the time, I think they were like $2 a piece, $3 a piece for what I needed. So you start adding up how many you need, it gets to be a pretty good expense. They do make plastic ones. So I had asked the owner of the sprayer what size hole he had in the orifices that he was using for 40 gallon to the acre. He had given me one as a pattern. So what I did was I took these brass blanks and I drilled out every single one of them in the center, the exact diameter, hole for 40 gallon to the acre, and it worked perfectly last year. I had no complaints. I couldn't have done it better. So I was very happy that this is the right size for what I'm doing. I'm going to use them again. They were in the oil, just got to wipe them off. You guys can see the corrosion already. But the holes are still open. I'm going to make sure all the holes are still open, and we're going to run them again. These were like $1 something a pack. So they're very cheap. They're almost throwaway things, but I'm going to get 2 years out of them, and saved me a whole bunch of buying the stainless or the plastic ones. I know I should buy them. I'm going to say that. I'm sure people will wonder why I don't. I should do that, and I might, but I'm holding off because like I said, I want to buy another sprayer, and who knows what might come with the other sprayer. So I'm not putting money into this one. So let me start doing this, and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so, and it's tropical humidity today. I think the weatherman said it was going to be tropical. So it's not sunny, which is very nice. I don't need to be out in direct sunlight. I was out in the sun all day yesterday, and I am burnt to a crisp here. So I wanted to do this on a cloudy day, so I planned it right, and it is thundering to the west. So I don't know how much time I'm going to be able to spend at this out here. I could move it inside the shop. I just can't unfold the boom. I'd have to do it with the boom folded up. But anyway, first thing I do, and I'll try to explain this. I know some of this might seem quirky and weird, but bear with me. First thing I do is I organize the hoses by length. So some people might ask, why aren't the hoses all the same length? Why don't you buy new hoses? Why can't you just put all new? They're just 3/8 fuel line hose, basically, is what I'm using. It's 3/8 hose that it's basically, like I said, fuel line hose. So I organize them by length because they don't all need to be the same length. Some need to be longer than others. I can't have them all be long, and I can't have them all be short. Reason for that, again, is hills. It's the hillsides here. I am going to do a video on some different things that we have to do with hillsides here. Some guys might recognize some of the practices, but some guys might not. So what do I mean when I say hills? When you're going up and down the hills and side to side, there is parts of this sprayer that will not move or change very much. All the nozzles from about here all the way across, however many drop hoses to here, that length, that dimension from the spray boom to the ground is going to remain constant pretty well all the time. The sprayer's on wheels, so it will tilt like this a little bit as you're going along the hills, but those hoses are the short ones. Basically all the short ones here are in the center, right behind the sprayer. So I said I have some long ones. The long ones go out here on the end of the boom. So you start out here with your longest hoses and work your way in as you go shorter steadily. Boy, it's really thundering. I might have to pack up here pretty soon. Anyway, you go shorter as you go in. And the reason for that is, I'll try to demonstrate this. Right now, the sprayer is pretty much sitting level. So when you're on a hill and the sprayer, let's say you're going along a hill and the sprayer is like this. So that boom on that side is going to go down closer to the ground. And this boom, no word of a lie, I'm serious, I'll try to get video of it. This boom here could end up, I gotta get out further, as high as 5 feet off the ground or more. So what happens when one side of the boom is 5 feet off the ground? Those drop hoses are going to come up, and you're putting the nitrogen on top of the corn, which will burn it, and it's not a good thing to do. So that's the reason why all my hoses are different lengths. You start with your absolute longest ones. Yeah, when you are going the other way, and let's say this boom is closer to the ground, yeah, you will have a real long hose dragging, but it's just going to drag further behind the sprayer. It's not an issue. So I know it seems quirky. That's about the best way I can explain it. I can't really think of any other way that would make sense for people that aren't on hills, but that's how we have to do it here, and that's why the different lengths. I don't need long ones behind the sprayer because that dimension isn't going to change. So the only thing that might fix this problem, and I had a Hardy boom on my Century sprayer that I had before. You could pull the center pin and the boom could go like this and it could follow the ground. This isn't set up for that, so we have to compensate with the different lengths of hoses. So all right, I'm explaining this way in depth and I'm sure it's getting long-winded here, so let's put some on the sprayer and I'll show you the assembly process. Okay, so I'm not going to edit this. I'm just going to do it as I do it here. Okay, so I'm going to start in the center. I know this center one that is capped is one that is going to need a drop hose for nitrogen. There's a row in between rows of corn. This is an open row. So what I want to do is, and I need my pliers. Hang on. All right, back with you. My trusty channel locks that have seen better days. Channel lock. I think they are made in Pennsylvania. I don't know if they still are. If they moved it to China, if they're still made in the USA, but definitely have a lot of channel lock products. So I should put gloves on because there is going to be some residue in here, or at least keep my hands clean. But so we'll take this cap off. Come on, fine thread. All right, so that cap is off. Now, this one here next to it is going to be capped. This cap is going to transfer from this one to this one, so we get 30 inches. So I want to take this one off while I'm working on this center one. And this one will have a screen that needs to be cleaned, so I'll clean them as I disassemble this. All right, so these nozzles now I will take off and put in a separate location. This screen needs to be cleaned out. I will do that. But you're going to put the screen in. I still want screens, a mesh 50, I think. Yeah, 50. I'm going to put the screen in. Then you reuse this. No, you don't reuse that. Then we're going to put the orifice in after the screen is in. And then this hose here will thread right onto there. And as you can see, it's just about that it's on the ground. It's not quite. It might be a little short, but it'll work. There's nothing wrong with that. So let me clean that screen. To make this video a little shorter and more interesting, I'm not going to explain it again. We're going to put all of them on. I'll come back with you when I'm done and show you what it looks like. All right, guys, it is later. It is a bit later. This does take a while. It takes a while to clean everything and get everything that it was going to work. So this is what it looks like. I always thought it looked neat, all the drop hoses going through the corn. You can see some of them are a little shorter. I might have to lengthen them. That one I don't like. It's too short. But we do have them all on. So we should be just about ready. I have one that the way the boom folds and the way it holds out, I had to tie it up with baler twine. Yes, I know it is hokey. It is weird. It's what the previous owner did of the sprayer, and it's what I'm just following suit. But it works. It's all that matters. It is at 30 inches. We just have to carry it over from one to the next. So we're not a huge budget operation here. So baler twine is going to be my friend there. So all right. Everything's on, all the screens are clean, all the orifices are in. The next thing to do is to put some water in and test it. I don't want to put the nitrogen in and have problems and be slopping around in nitrogen. I did rinse the sprayer out. The last thing that was in there was the soybean herbicide, so I did rinse it out once, and this will rinse it out again so I don't have any carryover into the corn with soybean herbicide. And so I'm going to fill it with water yet today and test it out, make sure everything works, and I think we're going to go at this tomorrow. Why not today, you might ask? Looking at the future radar and the weather reports, I think I'm pretty well going to be set up and ready to go here, and I'm going to get dumped on with some rain. So why risk it? Why mess around especially when there's a chance of rain tomorrow. This rain that's coming is very much needed. We really need this rain because of the heat wave that we've just been through without any moisture. The corn looks like pineapples during the day. So we'll get to this tomorrow. So all right guys, thanks for watching. I'm sure this video is long enough. I got to get everything put away here. I do want to test this yet today, flush out the sprayer once more. We'll test it and we'll hit the field maybe tomorrow. So let me get everything back under roof and let it rain. Let it rain. So all right, thanks for watching guys. I appreciate it. Stay tuned for tomorrow. And of course, once again, have a happy 4th of July, everybody.